Ring the alarm bells, people. The Toronto real estate market is getting flooded with listings, and they're sitting on the market. That's a stat I was really looking forward to seeing when TRREB released the September numbers. I wanted to see what overall market activity really looked like compared to the last month. And active listings is a pretty darn good representation of market activity. There were 3,500 more active listings left over at the end of September than there were in August, which is kind of concerning because September should be a stronger market in terms of absorption of inventory. My name's Macallum, and I'm a real estate agent and team leader in the city of Toronto. If you want to chat one-on-one about real estate, buying, selling, or leasing, all you have to do is click the first link in the description of this video and you can book a meeting directly into my calendar. And if you learn anything from this video or any other videos that I've created, please take 1 second to click both the like and subscribe buttons. I want to help as many people as possible make sense of the real estate market. And the more you interact with my videos, the more YouTube will push my content to others like yourself. So let's get into the data here. In August of 2023, there were 15,500 active listings at the end of the month. But in September, that number jumped up to just under 19,000 active listings. And that was pretty much because more new listings hit the market and there were fewer sales. So some of those listings end up sitting on the market. The number of sales decreased by 7% year over year. New listings increased by a massive 44%. Active listings also increased by close to 40%, but average price increased by 3% year over year. Just before filming this video, I was searching the MLS for a detached home around Don Mills for one of my clients. And 8 listings appeared within less than 1 kilometer and all between 1.2 and 2.2. Inventory is building up, so if you're thinking about listing your home, you need to make sure you have a premium listing strategy ready to go. I mean top tier staging, HD TV quality photos, Christopher Nolan quality property videos, floor plans, I mean the works. And of course, an appropriate listing price. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough road ahead. And if you're in the market to purchase a new home, boy, do you have a lot of options to choose from. So what's happening with prices now that we're heading into Q4? Well, they've been a roller coaster, to say the least. Detached homes in Toronto started the year at 1.5, peaked at 1.9 in May, and now sit at 1.7, still down about 300,000 since the peak in 2022. Semis were 1.15 in January, peaked at 1.4 in May and June, and now sit just shy of 1.3, still down about 250,000 from the peak in 2022. And townhouses followed a very similar path as semis, which isn't overly surprising given their place in the overall market being the upsizing asset class. They started the year quite strong, in fact, with an average sale price higher than semis at 1.3, which was actually their peak shared with May, and now sit with an average price of 1.2, down about 240,000 since peak of 2022. And now we get to condos, which doesn't seem all that bad when looking at average sale price this year, but just you wait until we head over to the other data. It's not a pretty sight. Condos began 2023 at 711,000, peaked in May at 784, and now sit just over 730,000, down about 100,000 since peak 2022. And we're still on the roller coaster because prices ticked up across all 4 major asset classes from August to September. If we take a look at the number of sales in Toronto for each major asset class, we can see that the freehold market in blue, orange, and gray saw sales increase month over month, whereas the condo market is dropping like a ton of bricks, down to just 850 sales. We haven't seen under 1,000 condo sales during the month of September for over a decade, so having 850 this September is pretty shocking. Let's move on to some more glowingly bad data. Both the condo in yellow and detached in blue market segments increased by almost 1,000 new listings month over month. Semis in town saw a more modest bump in the number of new listings. Now let's move on to the good, bad, or the ugly, depending on which side of the equation you're on. If you're buying, this is going to look pretty darn good for you. There are so many other options to choose from, regardless of the type of home you're looking to purchase. And if you're a seller, well, it's not looking too hot right now because your competition is a lot steeper. There are going to be more listings in your neighborhood which you're competing against. So it's imperative that your home stands out. Now let's move on to my favorite stat, as most of you know, which is months of inventory. And if you're not familiar, months of inventory is what I like to use in order to determine if we're in a seller's, balanced, or a buyer's market. Basically, it's the number of months it would take for all current available inventory to sell if no new listings were brought to the market. And right now, condos in yellow are sky high at 5.3 months, heading into a buyer's market. But the freehold market of detached semis and towns are all sitting within a seller's market, although detached could be considered on the cusp of a balanced market. And if we take just another second to compare our current months of inventory to the beginning of 2022, we can see just how insane that market actually was. We had around 2.5 weeks of semi and townhouse inventory at the time. And the sales to new listings ratio is, of course, not glowing either because there are far more new listings to hit the market than there were sales in the same month. And if we take the condo market, for example, there were 3,500 new listings to hit the MLS, but only 850 sales. So what do you do if you're a buyer right now? Well, you do your best to stay away from properties set up for bidding wars because there are so many other options. You negotiate like crazy when you find the right home, and you focus on the best listings because you're going to be overwhelmed by the number of listings you have in your search. And if you're a seller, like I've said a few times in this video, make sure you and your agent have a premium listing system in place. The 2021 list low and the market will do its thing doesn't cut it anymore. If you want to chat about buying or selling, click the first link in the description of this video.